Hello everyone, welcome to the Fire Artisan channel. I'm Drew, and today we're playing some mono white aggro. So this is a deck that kind of fell off the radar for a while for people. Basically ever since Standard rotated, very few people have been playing aggressive white decks. More recently we've seen the mono white enchantments deck get a lot of play, and that deck is really powerful, but we don't see a lot of the straight up play a lot of small creatures and go full scale aggro style of deck anymore. So I'm going to be trying to resuscitate that a little bit in this video. This particular build is, I have to give credit to Lee Shi Tian, who played in a Twitch Rivals event a pretty long time ago at this point, but he used this build in the main deck. I have adjusted the sideboard to reflect the metagame changes since then, but the original 60 are very powerful and just very devoted to just that clear strategy of getting a lot of small creatures on the board. We're able to pump up their power a little bit with Heraldic Banner and basically ramp up to Castle Ardenvale activations, which is sort of our late game, at least for the first, game one. We've got Raise the Alarm plus Heraldic Banner. That works really well. Tithe Taker is really strong. Annoying for control decks. Pretty strong against some of these flash decks, Dimir Flash, Simic Flash, that we've been playing ourselves. A couple of Glass Caskets, which is going to be useful against virtually any deck. It can get an Uro. Obviously, it's essential to have against aggressive decks. And we've got two main deck Conclave Tribunals, which can just get just about anything. Venerated Loxodon is not a card you see all that much, but still very powerful. You can get him down early and maybe put an extra 10 power on the battlefield. So yeah, he's wonderful. So we'll take a look at the sideboard here real quick. Yeah, so we've got a lot of goodies here. I've been playing with Soul Guide Lanterns in basically every sideboard these days. I think the most important deck to bring it in for is the cycling deck. It's almost impossible to beat the cycling deck without it, at least with the types of strategies that I'm normally playing. We've got two Devout Decrees. Pretty straightforward. That's for red and black decks. Two Disenchants. Glass Casket, more for those creature decks. Hushbringer is interesting. You have to be careful with it and make sure to bring it in for the right matchups. So one thing I'm going to be doing when we're playing is just really paying attention to to when it would be strong. I think it would be pretty good to bring in against the mutate deck, but you have to be careful not to bring it in against Uro decks, because then he just lands on turn 3 and never goes away. I think we bring in the Gideons against control decks. I don't think he tends to be very good against other creature decks. Conclave Tribunal, that's pretty straightforward. Divine Visitation, I think we usually bring that in on the draw, especially against other creature decks that wouldn't really be able to answer it. You wouldn't really think that our deck has a lot of synergy with this card, but as it turns out, even just using it to make the Castle Ardenvale 1/1s 4/4 angels is plenty to win the late game. Plus, it also has good chemistry with Raise the Alarm. Finale of Glory obviously works well with Divine Visitation, but very powerful on its own. I found that even if you can cast it for, say, 5 or 6, you have a Heraldic Banner down. If you cast it for 5, that's putting 9 power on the battlefield, and in the form of Vigilance. So very strong against other creature decks, and very powerful and annoying against control decks too. So sideboarding is actually kind of fun with this deck. All right, we're going to jump right in. you'll see I want to show you something actually. You see up here, I've been playing around with some mono black strategies, so hopefully there will be a video coming. I haven't quite gotten either one of these decks to the point where it's competitive enough that I actually want to play with it. They're both still a little bit lukewarm. Like, they'll win the obvious matches, but against the more difficult opponents or against the more difficult archetypes, it just feels like they don't have a chance at all. So that's not really where I want to be. I like to play with decks that are just at that level of power where they have game against everything. So hopefully I can get those where I want them for a future video. Everyone likes mono black as a strategy, so, but yeah, it can be hard to find a build that's powerful enough, especially right now when anything other than a mono black Lurrus sacrifice deck doesn't seem to be super viable, but we'll see. I mean, there's plenty of brewing to be done. All right, well, this looks like an excellent hand. This is exactly what we want to be doing. And we're on the play, so looks great from here. Huh. We did get two of the least exciting lands that I've seen, just in terms of the artwork. Obviously, we want basic plains at this point in the game. Don't love this one. I'm not even sure why I have this land in the deck. I like to pass the turn. I don't think this is very likely to get countered by this Sultai deck. All right, that's a Thought Erasure. I think I would rather play this Raise the Alarm. I wonder if they'll take the banner because we have two Loxodons. And the banner is just going to be so powerful for next turn. Kind of depends on how much board clearing they have, because the Loxodons can definitely be bigger problems if they don't have any great board clearing spells in their hand. Looks like we're going to go with a Loxodon next turn. It's a Casualties of War we just saw go into the graveyard. All right. I think we just Loxodon here. We do miss 4 damage, but I think you got to go for it. I mean, Cry of the Carnarium would be very annoying, but we'd still have a 4/4 attacker, so it wouldn't be a total blowout. That's a Narset, so I think they're taking pretty hefty amount of damage next turn. They've got the Luca avatar. I am not a Luca fan for a number of reasons. I mean, one, I think he kind of looks like a jerk. And number two, I don't like his card mechanics. He's you would think I would be excited, obviously, that another red planeswalker was printed, but I've never seen a red planeswalker that I've been so disappointed in and unhappy with as I've been with Luca. His -2 ability basically has made it so that he gets fit in all these control/combo-y shells. And obviously he was in that really broken Luca Jeskai Fires deck for so long. And he's just never useful, really, in red creature decks. He's too expensive, and his minus ability is horrible in an aggressive red deck. Because what are you going to do? Like, sacrifice a 1-drop to get your 2-drop? Even sacking... anyway, there's no way to use it profitably. I guess the best case scenario is that you put him down, you sack a satyr, and you get like a Torbrand, but the chances of that happening are so small. So anyway, he's horrible. That said, he is very powerful, but enormous disappointment of a card. I'm glad they effectively nerfed him in that they took all the power out of his shells. Okay, I'm gonna think about sideboarding here. I think the Gideons come in. How important is Glass Casket? That's a tough one. I don't think it's that important. I think another Conclave Tribunal. I'm going to bring in some of the bigger cards, go a little lighter on the Faerie Guidemother. Let's see. Yeah, I guess I went a decent amount lighter on the Faerie Guidemother, but I think we have to get a little bit bigger after sideboard here. Well, on the draw at least. All right, yeah, this looks pretty strong. I'm not sure where you start here. Do you start with a... I don't think I love starting with a Pegasus, because then you can't attack at all on the second turn. And I don't think there will be any really important targets for Giant Killer. Another decision point here. Do you kind of like double spelling with the Pegasi? If they don't clear our board, then hopefully we can get to a Loxodon for next turn. We've got 5 power on the board and more coming. This is a tough one. So I could raise the alarm and then go all in on the Loxodon, or I could just hit for 5 and play a Tithe Taker. I think I like holding up raise the alarm here. Yeah. Okay, well, I'm pretty glad I did that. Heraldic Banner. No, we really need another land. That's probably our best draw. All right. So Loxodon is not a possibility yet. Looks like we're playing Tithe Taker this turn. We've definitely been overdrawing on the venerated Loxodons. We definitely have enough of those guys. All right, well, that's a Tamiyo. That's not threatening. Oh, they're getting their cry back. Oh, that is threatening. Take that right back. Yeah. This is a tough one. I think given that we... I mean... Yeah. I'm not sure how best to play this turn, given that we know about Cry of the Carnarium for next turn. Obviously, we're killing the Tamiyo. If we play the Loxodon, then Giant Killer and Loxodon survive. But then we can't kill the Tameo. No, I think we kill the Tameo. Yeah, I should have just played the Faerie Guidemother on one of these tokens. I'm not sure what I was thinking there. I got roped. I think the rope really got me stressed me out too much there. Yeah, so let's just put these creatures down. I think another Cry of the Carnarium just ends our game here. Even some basic spot removal at this point is pretty devastating, and they have a very full hand. Looks like they're giving some thought as to what to untap here. I can't imagine that they'll be able to play anything anyway. I mean, I guess if they untap the forest, they could cycle a neutralize. Oh, they've got an Uro. Okay. Yeah. All right. I think it's just got to be Loxodon, right? Build up our board a little bit. I don't think 2 damage at Nissa is high impact enough. I mean, this isn't high impact enough either, but I think it's the best play. Also, we need a blocker against some of these lands coming in. Oh, Christ. So now they can attack for 6 and then play Uro. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure to what extent we want to bring in glass caskets just to deal with Uro, because he doesn't usually come down permanently until the game is already lost. So I think I'm going to stick with the Conclave Tribunals and sideboarding here, because sometimes the main thing is that you just, if you answer the Nissa, then the game's over for them. It's a Tameo. Yeah. I think it's true that Gideon is still good here. All right. I think... Yeah, I think I'm ready to... I think I'm ready to pack it in here. I don't think we can come back from this position. Maybe if they didn't have an Uro gaining them life, but we're just taking way too much damage from the lands at this point. Alrighty. So one thing they're not doing is countering our spells. So I think Finale of Glory and Divine Visitation continue to be pretty good. I think I can go down to 2 Tribunals, bring in another Fairy. We don't really have any great answer to just getting hit by Cry of the Carnarium. So I think we just have to just pay attention and not committing too much to the board, and or trying to get as many creatures as possible above 2 toughness. We're also aware of extinction events at this point. All right. So we'll be as fast out of the gate as we want to be here. I think the best draw is just a land at this point. That's not land. All right, so we'll keep in mind that they need 2 black sources to have a turn 3 cry. Oh, that's absolutely huge. All right. Do we play the knight? That's a tough one. That's a really tough one. I think probably not. I think we have enough pressure on the board for now. Oh, they didn't have it. That's rough. I wonder what they're up to here. Do you think we go for a second heraldic banner? I think we do. All right. All right, this works out pretty well. If they clear our board, then we can still get in for extinction event. Oh, this actually kind of stinks for them. I mean, I guess they'll have to name even. And then we'll be very close to lethal once we play this Raise the Alarm. All right, they're going to pack it in. It was not lethal, but I guess they didn't have another spell in hand. All right, well, I'm obviously very happy with that. Diamond tier 3. Yeah, I think given how we're not seeing as many of those Luca decks, and the control decks aren't quite as powerful as they used to be, this deck has become a lot better. That said, this deck feels like it would be a horrible matchup against like a Rakdos Sacrifice deck. So we'll have to keep that in mind. I just feel like it wouldn't have a lot of play in that matchup. All right. Well, thank you for watching. You should try this deck yourself. It's really wonderful, and it's basically a budget deck. I mean, I think the Tithe Takers are rare, but other than that, you should be okay. So yeah, already I'm gonna sign off, but have a good one, and I'm gonna I'm gonna keep posting videos, and still haven't figured out what I'm gonna play for tomorrow, but yeah, I'll let you know. Thank you so much.